Hello, insert snappy intro here, and welcome to a Java tutorial, because a lot of people really want to learn Java. There's a couple reasons you would want to learn Java. First of all, it's a very introductory programming language. It's really good at teaching the basics of functional programming, using classes and methods, objects, object-oriented programming in general, I suppose. Although, quite honestly, I would start with PHP. I think it has more applications and you can go either way with it. But hey, a lot of people assign Java or teach Java as a entry-level class, so who might argue with professors? The other reason that a lot of people really are into it now, especially, is because of the modding community. Minecraft especially. Minecraft is made with Java, so anyone who wants to mod Minecraft pretty much kind of has to know Java. Although that may change with Microsoft having snatched it up and written a C++ version of it. So, hey, you C++ people might be ahead of the game in that department. So let's get started. You're going to need a couple things before we really get into the developing and all of that. I have already taken the liberty of downloading JDK, which is a special version of Java made for developing. It has all of the packages and stuff that you need to actually write the code. It's not like the Java that you get from the splash page of the java.com or whatever it is. I'm pretty sure it's java.com. It may be java.org. It's been a while. I'll put a link in the description for you. You can just get it from there. This is JDK 8. The latest version will be at the link. 64-bit version. It essentially means that whatever I make with this program will be compatible with Java 8. The other thing you should get is Eclipse. You don't need Eclipse, but it certainly helps, and I'm going to be doing this tutorial in it and showing you shortcuts for Eclipse, so I highly recommend you snag yourself a copy. It's free. The current version as of now is Mars. Feel free to use a different version if you want to. Just be aware there's a couple subtle differences. I'll point them out if it's something major between Mars and whatever the last version I used was, which I'm pretty sure was Luna. I'll be sure to point that out. And this isn't an exe, as you can see, it's a zip file. Some people have issues with it. You just open it up, copy this into your program files folder, C/program files or C/program files 64, depending on whichever version you downloaded. It honestly doesn't matter where it's located, just uh, you have an eclipse.exe, make a shortcut to that on your desktop. That's honestly all you need to do. Put it in your start menu if you want. I think I might have. No, I didn't. Oh well. Fire that up. It'll probably take a while to load, depending on your machine. If you have an older machine or one with low RAM. I'm in a VM right now, so it's going to take a bit. Uh, First time you run it, it's going to ask you for a workspace. It might prompt me, I don't know, yeah, here. Uh, I actually need to change my workspace, so it's a perfect chance. Uh, I defaults to your user folder slash workspace, and that is perfectly fine to use. Yeah, just go with that. Um, Actually, I think that kind of got screwed up. Let me just. Okay, yeah, it got screwed up for me. Uh, Naming conventions were messed up. Just ignore that. uh, but it goes in your user folder, makes a folder called workspace. It stores the stuff there. You can do that. Uh, I think sometimes it'll try to put it in app data. Put it in your user folder. It's much easier to manage. I'm going to make a new workspace just to clear things up a little bit. Test workspace, if I can type today. And that'll just make everything fresh. So you can follow along if you're just doing a new install, which you probably are. Uh, it's going to take a bit. It's going to load all of the packages that Eclipse needs. As you can see, it'll tell you what it's loading as it goes, which is kind of nice. and here it is. Pop it open up. Go ahead and make it full screen. It's easier on me anyway, and easier on the recording at the same time. This is just a splash of overview. The tutorials here aren't fantastic, so I just skip out on them. Yeah, that's why you're here. You're going to do my tutorials, aren't you? Just click Workbench. It'll take you into what they call the workbench. Some people call it a workspace. I don't know. Task list and outline, neither of which are things I use. You might find them useful later on if you want. So here you see the Package Explorer over on the side. This is going to be the main area that you're going to work with in Eclipse. It's going to list all of your classes, methods, all of that. Don't worry, we'll get into it later. And most importantly, all of your projects, which there's nothing there right now because we don't have a project. So let's do that. Go to New, Java Project. And this is going to contain all of the code for whatever project you want to work on. In this case, we're just going to call it test. Why not? It's a very simple name. It's a very simple thing we're doing. You shouldn't need to mess with any of these settings unless you're doing something specific, which we don't need to edit this at all. Hit finish. It'll create all your files and folders. Alright. This is the source folder. It's going to hold all of your code. Well, 99% of your code. It's going to go in here. And we're going to start off with, I guess this video is short enough that we'll go ahead and make your first class. A class is a basic unit of Java. It is the building block, if you will. An object, an item, a noun. That is what a class is. Especially when you're dealing with object-oriented programming, which is what we're doing. We'll make our first object later, but right now we're just going to make a class. And we're going to call it main. This class is going to be special because we're going to check this little box. When that box is checked, it means that you can run it right from Eclipse. You can call it from a command line. Otherwise, it's a little complicated to get things to work. So you hit finish. It's going to create all of your code, make the file, just set things up for you. And this is what you get. If it'll let me, that's a comment. Eclipse generates comments automatically, so you kind of know what's going on. It's not something you need to do. It needs to do. It shouldn't be anything you need, but it's always handy to have. One thing you'll notice right off the bat is that when I deleted that, it changed the file, and this little asterisk came up on the tab. That means that it's unsaved. So you can tell, looking at your tabs, what's saved, what isn't. It's a pretty handy feature, just saying. And I'm going to introduce you to your first command, which by all means you should not learn until much later, logically. That's one of the flaws of the way that Java itself as a language is set up. There's no echo, there's no print. It's all chained together. So the equivalent of that, if you're coming from another language, if not the statement that writes things to the command line, to the console, is system.out.println. And it's going to lag on me because it's a VM. This is the method that prints whatever's given to it. So we can give it a string and say hello world, hit save, and then because this has the main method, whenever we run it, it'll run the code that's in there. So hello world comes up. But you can do more than just give it strings. A string, for those of you who aren't in the know, is just a line of text. You surround it by quotes, and that's how it interprets it. We can replace that with, I don't know, an integer, 3. And that'll show up in the command line. So it'll print whatever we give it, essentially. If we give it nothing, then it prints nothing. It prints a line. There's a couple variations on this, but nothing we need to get into now. I'm just going to write hello world for the sake of everybody loves programming. Shortcut in Eclipse. If you're not using Eclipse, then just ignore this. It might be different in your environment. SYSOUT, control space. It used to be SYSO in the last version, so if you're using Luna, then you get to save 2 characters. I have no idea why they changed it for this version. You get used to it. I say this despite not running Linux. There you go. You have written your first program in Java in Eclipse. Congratulations. Quick, less than 15-minute, probably 10-minute tutorial. I don't know because I have to edit out some stuff. There you go. You've gotten started. Next time we're going to look at objects.